Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to Xbox On. Now, we recently went hands-on with Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, and managed to collect some amazing new footage from the game. Set in an alternate history where the Nazis took over the world, this sequel takes us to our hero's homeland, America. As you know, they do everything bigger in the United States, and so developers Machine Games are going bigger too. Here are 10 colossal new things that you have to see in this incredible shooter. How's this for a bold opening statement? With our hero BJ recovering from his injuries in the first game, he has to hold off a Nazi invasion of his submarine home from a wheelchair. His health is kept at a permanently low level, and he loses a lot of his lightning-fast arcade movement, but he remains an awesome Nazi-slaying machine. For starters, BJ can pull off some amazing takedowns. Get close enough to click the right stick and he can smash a head against the wheels of his chair, or simply drag them down to his level and finish them off with a burst of gunfire. Despite the squeaky wheels, the chair proves to be an effective stealth vehicle as you slide past dumb guards by riding conveyor belts or by sitting the chair on the teeth of giant cogs. It also helps that Set, the Jewish scientist that we met in the first game, has filled the submarine with body-melting force fields. Want to avoid noisy confrontation? Just find the switches to turn the devices on and Nazis will patrol to their deaths, or you could fire a shot and wait for them to just come running. Once you've seen a soldier explode on contact for the first time, you'll never look at a microwave dinner in the same way again. However, all your best efforts are for nothing as an old friend is waiting to meet you. Recognize this lovely lady? One of the most memorable characters in the New Order was Frau Engel, the twisted commander of a concentration camp. In the first game, she's horribly disfigured by a robot and is last seen as you stab her lover to death, so it's no surprise that she is an axe to grind with BJ, and a literal axe she wants to put through a neck or two. Having invaded the submarine where he's hiding, she gives him an ultimatum: hand yourself over or see your friends put to death. In case you didn't get it, she's not the nicest person that you'll meet in this game. Over the course of the New Order, she established herself as one of gaming's best villains, using her position of power to bully the weak with a twisted sense of humor. Her return in the new Colossus is an amazing scene that mixes moments of horror with comedy. This time round, Engel has her child along for the ride, and it's clear that mother and daughter are not much alike. Poor Sigrun isn't a shining example of the Nazi ideal, and her mum isn't one to mince words. One second she's picking on her obese daughter for eating sweets in secret, and the next she's trying to bully her offspring into executing BJ's friends with a fire axe. I'm guessing she won't be getting a Mother's Day card this year. The scene cuts out before we see whether Sigrun goes through with the act, but it makes for a thrilling opening to the game. We just hope Engel gets a bit more screen time in this game. It's rare to get a villain as good as this. As in the first game, Wolfenstein 2 isn't all endless action. There are peaceful moments that let you explore the strange world that has emerged since the war was lost. In the second level we play, BJ finds himself in Nazi-occupied Nevada, showing us how the Nazis are adapting to the land of apple pie and hamburgers. It may look like a wholesome American town, but everything is rotting beneath the surface. There are propaganda robots warning people not to step out of line, and if you find the pamphlet for the local cinema, you'll discover that all the films are designed to communicate the importance of not causing any trouble to your new masters. It reminds us a lot of exploring BioShock Infinite's Columbia before it all kicks off at the start, only the big difference here is that BJ is carrying a nuke in his rucksack. That could blow it all to hell. There are so many cool details to pick up on. You can eavesdrop on conversations and listen as Americans struggle to suck up to the invading forces, or maybe you can just stand by and watch endless ranks of Nazi soldiers go marching by. Perhaps more shockingly, you can also listen in on a Nazi giving two members of the Ku Klux Klan a quick German lesson. There's a lot of dark humor at play, but the game is quick to remind you that this isn't just a big joke. BJ is public enemy number one, and if you get too close to the soldiers and let them get a good look of your face, this little sightseeing trip comes to a bloody end. Best hurry on. If you watch Bethesda's E3 show, you'll have already been introduced to the man the internet calls Milkshake Nazi. Why the strange nickname, you wonder? Well, he's a Nazi who really likes to drink milkshakes. You meet him in the diner in this classic scene, just as you're about to meet with your resistance handler. He walks in looking for some refreshment. Your face is plastered all over wanted posters and the television. The question is, will his tasty milkshake be enough to distract him from recognizing your face? But what's amazing about this scene is the detail of the character animation, all created with performance capture. Look at his face and you can really see him sucking on that thick shake. It makes us thirsty every time we see it. But talking to Jens, the creative director at Machine Games, he told us the team shot 40 days of performance capture with over 100 different actors. They also use new rigs for capturing faces, which explains why you can see that hot lips on straw action in this very scene. Part of the reason the animation works so well is that the character faces are closely modeled on their actors. The face you're looking at belongs to German actor Igor Obermiller, and if there was an Academy Award for most villainous milkshake drinker, he would sure take home the prize. But enough about the milkshakes. For this second mission, BJ has left his wheelchair, courtesy of experimental power armor. He's also acquired a tasty new axe, which is used for some of the most brutal melee takedowns since, well, the last Wolfenstein game. And if you played the old Blood DLC, you'll remember him taking out Nazis with a piece of pipe by jamming it into various bits of their body. Here the axe is used to chop at necks, chop at ribs, and chop off legs in their entirety. Hey, guess he'll be saving money on shoe polish, right? The animations are so brutal, you find yourself wincing even when you've seen them 10 times in a row. In larger gunfights, being close enough to use an axe usually means you're going to be shot to pieces, but it's great for close quarters combat in tight corridors. Find spare axes embedded in the walls and they can be thrown for silent takedowns from afar. As Jens is keen to point out, even if you play the game with stealth in mind, it's still about murdering Nazis. Now, if you played the New Order, you'll know that Machine Games are very good at making virtual guns. The arsenal is even better this time around, with the star of the demo being the Dieselkraftwerk. This bad boy fires sticky containers full of diesel. Pull the trigger to stick the canister to a wall or an enemy, and squeeze it again to blow it up. Now, you could use this to help booby trap an area before a big fight kicks off, but we prefer to wade in, sticking tiny bombs to our enemies and detonating them into a pile of bouncing body parts. Needless to say, you would want to be a Nazi janitor. Find weapon upgrade kits and you can add an ignition muzzle that ignites the diesel as it leaves the canister, turning into more of a flaming grenade launcher, or maybe that upgrade kit is better used on the supercharge function that fires 5 canisters at once. Either way, horrible flaming death is on its way. If it wasn't for the limited diesel supplies, this beauty would never leave our hands. And what's better than a Dieselkraftwerk? Having a Dieselkraftwerk in one hand and a machine gun in the other. Yep, after the New Order limited your dual wielding to pairs of similar guns, you can now mix and match your dual wield weapons, creating all kinds of hilarious combinations. When you bring up your weapon wheel, you just select the gun you want in your right hand and then push the stick to the left to bring up the weapon wheel for the left hand. There is something so stupidly satisfying about spitting out exploding bombs of diesel with one hand while spraying the enemy with assault rifle fire with the other. At points like this, you're unleashing so much chaos that you wonder if the game can possibly throw enough enemies your way to keep up with it, but somehow it always does. It's kind of amazing how Wolfenstein manages to deliver slower story scenes but can also turn into a bullet-spraying madman with a touch of the bumper. With a huge boomstick in each hand, it even gives 2016's Doom a run for its money. I didn't actually catch the name of this next weapon, so I'm calling it the Giant Laser Cannon. It feels like an evolution of the Laserkraftwerk weapon from the New Order. The instructions are very simple. Point the red beam at the enemies and watch them melt. It's the kind of weapon that is so incredibly dangerous you wonder if the Nazis made a mistake carrying it into battle. Manage to steal one from the giant power armor dudes, and you've basically won the following battle. Ideally, you want to find one that is still attached to the turret as it never runs out of energy, but once you've detached one, you need to make good use of those batteries. The laser turret becomes particularly handy in the final stretch of the level, where your escape from an exploding facility is blocked by this giant robot soldier. He's probably quite threatening if you have to fight with pea shooters, but if you load a beam of laser straight into his face, he falls apart in a few seconds. Just as BJ has upgraded his weapons, the Nazis have also been tinkering with their own forces. Our demo introduces some impressive robot enemies that move much faster than the average human. These bots can slide out of the way of bullets in a blur of orange electricity, but while they're fast on their feet, they aren't axe-proof. Get up close and you can bury the hatchet in their chest and explode them in a shower of sparks. However, the same trick won't work on their big brothers. These giant power armor soldiers are bloody terrifying. Not only do they pack 2 death lasers that pump an endless stream of pain into your face, but they can suddenly accelerate using boosters on their backs. When one of these giants goes from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, there's no way you can dodge out of the way. Shooting or going in with an axe can chip away at their outer shell, revealing soft flesh inside, but you'll have to survive his battering dash until that moment. So good luck with that. Even though Wolfenstein is all about the amazing guns, the game is quite happy for you to take a sneakier route. As in the first game, if you can find and assassinate the commanders before they set off alarms, you can clear out the area without having to face extra reinforcements. In Wolfenstein 2, the new levels feel even more open than before, letting you tackle them in whatever way you want. Here's a perfect example. To infiltrate a secret Nazi base, BJ has to ride an underground train. You'd think a train would be a very linear level, it's just a corridor on wheels, right? But machine games find loads of routes for you to use. You can climb up onto the roof, for example, and try and scamper along looking out for any low-hanging parts of the ceiling, or if you don't want to risk your head, you can sniff out platforms that hang underneath the carriages, letting you slip under Nazi feet as they chat about their daily lives. Choose to go through the carriages and you still have lots of options. Do you go down to the lower levels where the Nazis store their robot soldiers? There might be fewer people down there, but if things do kick off, you're trapped in a small room with loads of mechanical murderers. Or do you stay upstairs and try to stealth your way through Nazi living quarters, sniping them with a silenced pistol as they go about their daily business? For my money, the gunplay is so satisfying I don't mind setting off the alarms and having to fight my way through the masses. It's at this point you switch to a dual wheel and wait for the enemy to get bottlenecked in those tiny train corridors. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. And those are just 10 colossal new things in Wolfenstein 2. We had an absolute blast with this new demo, and it is shot to the top of our pre-order list. There's so much cool stuff in these 2 levels, and we can't wait to see more. If you're pumped for the new Colossus, make sure to let us know in the comments below, and do give the video a thumbs up. For more great access to the biggest games, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we've got some amazing new footage for all kinds of games that you don't want to miss. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.